Extremely toxic best friend story time. So when I was in 8th grade, there was this boy. And this boy would go around telling almost every girl that he liked her. And I was one of those girls. And he would do stuff with all of us. And there were like 11 of us. So we all hated each other. Especially this one girl, and we're gonna call her Abby. And every time we saw each other, we would be super mean to each other. Well, a year passed, we stopped talking to this kid. And I bumped into her at homecoming and basically apologized. So after that, we became best friends. And everything was good until every time I told her about a guy, she would start talking to them. Like this one boy that I was Snapchatting and talking to, she accidentally sent nudes to him and said, "Oh, sorry, I meant to send them to my boyfriend." So then she called one of my other best friends and said, "No, it actually wasn't an accident." And of course he told me because he was my best friend. So I was like, whatever, and stopped talking to the boy. And she did it again, like for part 2.
This is why you should never leave the table when you're on a blind date. One of my best friends and I worked at the same restaurant. When I came in later that day for my shift, she told me a crazy story. She said that her first table were this guy and this girl, and she could tell they were on a first date. The girl was nervous, so she ordered a glass of wine. As far as she knew, the date seemed to be going well, and the girl got up to go to the bathroom. Right when my friend was about to come over and bring the silverware, she saw him put something in her wine. My friend, obviously terrified and freaking out, let our manager know, who then let the police know, and ran into the bathroom to tell her what was going on. The girl ended up staying in the bathroom until the police came, arrested him, and escorted him out of the building. It was noon on a Tuesday. You don't think you're going to be drugged at noon on a Tuesday?
Storytime are the most dirtiest college rooming ever. By the way, we're calling her Jessie. So I moved in before Jessie and I get settled and decorate. The next day, she comes and throws her bag on the bed, then leaves. I thought it was weird because she didn't even say anything to me. Couple hours later, she comes back and I'm like, hello? And she's like, my bad, and comes give me a hug. She smelled very bad. She starts unpacking all of her clothes and blankets, but they smelled like mildew. Anyways, a week later, there's this party going on for freshmen, and she goes, but I stay in because I had a migraine. I told her that when she comes back, can she keep the light off? Now it's 2 a.m., and she comes back in very loud, uses the bathroom, then goes to sleep. And now I'm up, so I got up to use the bathroom too. When I sit down on the toilet, I feel something very squishy. It was dark because, like I said, I had a migraine. I get up, turn the light on, and I was sitting in her shit.
Time about how I got an insane stalker from working at a strip club and professionally cuddling. Professionally cuddling is like platonic touch therapy. I'm essentially paid $100 an hour to listen to clients vent and non-sexually cuddle them. I met lots of different clients, both good and bad. You can always tell who's good or bad by their karma. A karma is like a review. One of my clients who was especially respectful was named George, and I will tell you why George is very sus later on. He was really chill and he would take me out to do anything I wanted to do, such as restaurants or mini golfing. Even if we weren't cuddling, he'd still pay me. Gotta get that bag. While I did spend a lot of my time with him, I did have other clients. One person after him that we'll call Tim left a review on my karma, saying that I was the best cuddler. The next day, I woke up to the site banning me for inappropriate behavior. There was fake inappropriate screenshots sent in, where someone was clearly using photos you could easily find on my Instagram. And the text literally said, "I'll even let you touch my butt." Like, who even talks like that? Then Tim sent me a screenshot of him getting a message from a random number. That's when I realized it may have had to do with his review. I quickly got my account back because I let the site know I was being harassed, but this is when things got worse. Stay tuned for part 2 and follow me on Instagram.
Okay, so this is part 2 on how my brother and I got caught, doing the dirty. So like I said, he said, let's go take care of that before our parents get home, because he was really, really scared. So we went up to the bathroom and, he was taking care of me, and all of a sudden he kisses me. And yes, I kissed him back because I always had a little crush on him, but I didn't think it would get to that point. So we started kissing, and then it started getting really hot. And yes, we did it like twice. But the second time my parents got home, we didn't hear them, but they did hear us. And my mom walked in and saw me butt naked on top of my brother. Long story short, he got sent away with his dad. Our parents were so upset, and they couldn't even look at me. We got back in touch, and we confessed our love for each other. We got married about 1.5 years ago. We moved to the United States to be away from our family, We live in Florida, ready to start our own family.
And shut the door. So here I am, getting casted on. I remember seeing a shadow. I fell on my ass. And I start screaming and crying. It wasn't good. So someone called the janitor. Janitor walks in to check up on me. It's a guy.
This story time is a warning to please be cautious if you ever speak to someone over the internet. So when I was 14 and still in high school, my local area was going through a weird stage where someone was trying to contact a lot of the 14-year-olds and see if they wanted to join an escort agency. This was done over Facebook, and of course, most of the girls just ignored these messages. However, my friends and I thought it'd be funny if we ended up messaging this person back. Obviously, bad idea. We weren't serious about meeting up with this person, we really just thought it was a big joke. However, once I was by myself, I continued to message this person. They kept commenting on how beautiful I was and said that I was like a sister to them. I was obviously very impressionable at 14 years old and was wanting all the attention I could get. So I continued to message the person on the other side of the phone for the next couple of weeks, not realizing that I was being groomed. After the next couple of weeks, I was sitting in class and I got an extremely panicked message from my mom saying that I need to come home immediately and that she needs my phone. I guess a family friend of ours had told her about the messages and had also seen a lot of the escort advertisements. So my mom read through the messages, quickly called the police, and the conclusion was to block the account and be more careful next time. I thought it was case closed, but I was wrong. Stay tuned for part 2 and follow me on Instagram.
So I decided to go to Walmart to get my rosé. Right, ladies? Right? Or men. Checking out. You know, the alert goes off and it says approval needed. This girl comes up. She looks at me and goes, "My, you look very young." She's probably a couple years older than me. So I'm like, yeah, I get that a lot. Here's my license. Starts looking me up and down. Which I get a lot because look at all this. No, I'm kidding. So you're 22. What school did you go to? I go, I went to Baylor, and I dropped out. I kind of left that part out, but she has the audacity to look at me and go, 22. Are you sure? No, actually, I'm not sure what my age is, because every morning I wake up and I select a different age, and that is what I am.
I wasn't gonna do my makeup, but my skin kind of looks like shit, so let's do makeup in a story time. When I was 16, I started dating this 23-year-old guy. I normally dated older guys, and my parents knew about him and weren't concerned, so I wasn't really concerned about the whole predator thing. Eventually, I moved into his house with him, and everything was great. I was so happy. A little while later, I come home one day, and I see a note on our door. The note read, "This is not your house. Get your stuff and leave today." I didn't know what to do, so I called my boyfriend immediately. I noticed there was an old man who was the neighbor, just kind of staring at me as I'm standing on the porch on the phone with my boyfriend. Turns out he was the one who left the note on our door. He started walking towards me and I instantly got scared. This is the time when he realized that I had no idea what was going on. And when he started explaining it to me, I had no idea what to believe. What he said to me truly caught me by surprise. Come back for part 2.
Here's part 2 of how I ended up having to fight my toxic best friend over her own boyfriend. So, like I said before, we go to the beach, we start getting undressed, and my friend Regina pulls me aside saying, "Why would you wear that in front of my boyfriend? You look like her." I get mad at her and tell her that we're at a freaking beach. What else do you expect me to wear? She starts talking about how I'm always trying to show off in front of guys that she brings around. And I tell her, my date is here also. Why would I do that in front of him or you? She tells me that I'm thirsty and that I'm looking for attention. I laugh because I'm like, she gotta be joking. Then out of nowhere, she takes my towel, throws it at me very hard as though she wanted to hurt me and says, "Put your clothes back on, you." And guys, I crazy on this girl. Just know that at the end of the fight, she had a mouthful of sand in her mouth. And of course, the guys pulled us apart. She ended up packing all her things to go with her boyfriend, and I stayed at the beach and chilled all day.
Put a finger down if you go and meet your friend for dinner one night and you get there before her. So you walk up and tell the hostess that there's gonna be 2 of you and you give her your last name. Then you go and sit down, and while you're waiting for your table, this random girl walks up to you and is like, hey, I heard you say your last name. Do you know blank? And you're like, yeah, that's my dad. And she's like, that's my dad. And you look at her like she's the craziest person you've ever seen in your life. So she pulls out her phone and in fact shows you pictures of your dad at every holiday, graduation, family function that has ever happened in her life. And that was the day you found out that your dad had a secret family. And then you had to be the one to break the news to your mom.